I received a question this morning regarding Daniel 9, beginning in verse 25. Know and understand this, from the time the word goes out to restore and rebuild Jerusalem until the Anointed One, the ruler, comes, there will be 7 sevens and 62 sevens. It will be rebuilt with streets and a trench, but in times of trouble. After the 62 sevens, the Anointed One will be put to death and will have nothing. The people of the ruler who come will destroy the city and the sanctuary. Okay, in verse 24, we've already been told that 70 sevens are decreed for your people and your holy city to finish transgression, to put an end to sin, to atone to wickedness, to bring in everlasting righteousness, to seal up vision and prophecy, and to anoint the most holy place. But it's broken up into 7 sevens, 62 sevens, and then 1 7. These do not have to be sequential. There's a reason why he breaks them up like this. And we know that from the time that Jesus is killed, until the time of the end, there's only going to be 1 7 that is included in these 77s. Well, 1 7, date a year prophecy, 7 years, hasn't been 7 years since Jesus died. So this is not happening sequentially. Listen to what is said. Verse 25, know and understand this, from the time the word goes out to restore and rebuild Jerusalem until the Anointed One, the ruler, comes, there will be 7 sevens and 62 sevens. That's 69. That's a total of 69. It will be rebuilt with streets and a trench, but in times of trouble. After the 62 sevens, the Anointed One will be put to death and will have nothing. So we know that these sevens occurred before Jesus died, until the time that he is put to death. After the 62 sevens, the Anointed One will be put to death and will have nothing. By the way, you can't count this by years or weeks, sequential weeks. Remember that I've taught you God's weeks are not all sequential. In a 30-day month that begins with a rest day on new moon, you have a rest day, then you have 4 weeks, then you have a work day, and then it starts right back over with a rest day. So between every 4 weeks, except for certain holy day months, you're going to have 2 days in between your weeks. A week is not defined by the Gregorian calendar. A week is defined by 6 days of rest, 6 days of work, and a 7th day of rest. So even with the first day of new moon being a rest day, that doesn't mean it's a week. A week is defined by 6 days of work and a 7th day of rest. This is the reason this is stated this way. This is the reason why in Leviticus 23, when talking about the Festival of Weeks, you don't have God saying count 50 days. He says count 7 weeks up to the 50th day, the day after the Sabbath. He says that for good reason, because it's not 50 days later. It's actually 52 days later. And while he could have said count 52 days later, he didn't. And I believe the reason he didn't is because if you're actually in obedience, he knew that the Romans were going to institute that Gregorian calendar. He knew that deception was going to take place. But if you're actually in obedience to him, you'll be obeying his lunar calendar, observing his lunar calendar, and you would know this. So when he's saying here 77s, he's not saying 490 days or 490 years, the way that you would calculate that off of a Gregorian calendar. He knows that built into this are breaks between those sevens. So you're not going to be able to calculate this according to that understanding. But here's where our marker is. We know that after these 69 sevens, Jesus is put to death. The Anointed One will be put to death and will have nothing. The people of the ruler who will come will destroy the city and the sanctuary, and that's what they did. The Romans, the people of the ruler, came and destroyed the city and the sanctuary, and they've been doing it ever since, along with the prostitutes that bore out of her, who are her children. Don't be saying that the reformists are correct and Catholicism is wrong. They're all wrong. They're all of the same kingdom. Catholicism, the prostitutes that bore out of her, the false prophet of the United States, and the image of the Antichrist, which is counterfeit Israel. They have been destroying this sanctuary ever since. The end will come like a flood. War will continue until the end, and desolations have been decreed. He, the Antichrist, will confirm a covenant with many for 1/7. This is the last 7. We had the 69 sevens occurring up until the death of Jesus. Now there is another 7, this 7-year period. And in the middle of that 7-year period, he's going to put an end to sacrifice and offering. We're in the middle of that 7-year period, guys. In a few weeks, less than a few weeks, this is going to happen. And this is not talking about a temple that's been built in the Middle East. It's not talking about sacrifices that have been reinstituted. God would not be doing that. He's talking about a temple that is his people, and he's talking about the daily sacrifice that he mentions in Revelation 11, and he says for 1260 days that they will be testifying. We're the sacrifice. The witnesses are the sacrifice in this specific context. He also discusses it in Revelation 12 and tells you why the witnesses have come. He tells you that these witnesses, these 144,000, have been sealed before the first 4 trumpets blow, because when the 5th trumpet blows, they're going to die. He tells you in Revelation 12 that the purpose of these witnesses is to testify, bear their testimony, and they have not loved their lives so much as to shrink from death. And he also tells you that when the devil loses his place in the heavenly realms and is cast down to the earth, he kills the witnesses and he goes after you. So we know the timing of when this happens. He also tells us in Revelation 9, when the 5th trumpet blows, he demonstrates exactly the language that he uses in Revelation 11. So we know when this is happening. That the dragon, the star, the angel, is falling from the heavenly realms, has the key to the shaft of the abyss, goes into the abyss, rises from the abyss. Smoke rises from the abyss. When he rises from the abyss, he overpowers and kills the witnesses. That's the language used in Revelation 11. All of these contexts tell you what's going on right in the middle of the 7. He will confirm a covenant with many for 1/7. In the middle of the 7, he will put an end to sacrifice and offering. And at the temple, he will set up the abomination that causes desolation until the end that is decreed is poured out on him. And let me tell you something. The abomination of desolation is that cross you keep hanging on your rear view mirror, around your neck, drawing on your forehead, kissing it, bowing down to it, that was set up by the very Antichrist kingdom that we're talking about right now, that came out of Rome through Catholicism and continues in the prostitutes that bore out of her, the false prophet, and those who worship the image of the beast. You weren't supposed to set up an image. And it makes me sick that those of you who are listening to this channel and hear me say it over and over, that you have that image in your profile picture. Do you obey God or not? Do you believe in what he has said or not? Then take those images down. That's the abomination that causes desolation. It was set up by Constantine the Fake, who feigned a vision to get political support of so-called Christians. And if you keep setting that image up, you're going to go into the lake of burning sulfur just the same as she will, because that makes you a prostitute that bore out of her. We are told what that abomination of desolation is in Ezekiel, that the women are bowing down and mourning Tammuz, whose image is the cross, and the men are bowing down to the east with their backs against God, to the sun in the east. Well, Tammuz is a Roman god, a sun god whose image is the cross. This image that is supposedly the sign, the symbol, the image of Christianity. Well, it's not, because we were told not to set up an image. So it's not an image of Christianity. It is the image of counterfeit Christianity, of the Antichrist kingdom. This is what gets set up in the temple of God. And this just so happens to be that abomination that people are using as a way to signify that they're in the Mickey Mouse Club. Is that what you need to do? Is that what signifies You as a Christian? No. Your deeds, your life, what's in your heart, that signifies you as a Christian. You're modeling yourselves after pagans. Now let's answer the question of the break. What is the break in between? The break in between is this desolation. The people of the ruler who will come will destroy the city and the sanctuary. That's what they've been doing since Jesus died. They have come to physically destroy the sanctuary, and they have come to spiritually destroy the sanctuary. That's what they've been doing this entire time. But now that these sevens have started, this last seven has started, has been going on. We're in the middle of that seven. What did Daniel say? He said, 77s are decreed for your people and your holy city to finish transgression and to put an end to sin, to atone for wickedness, to bring in everlasting righteousness, to seal up vision and prophecy, and to anoint the most holy place. No one's been concerned about this. Has anyone been concerned about atoning for wickedness, bringing in everlasting righteousness? No, they haven't, because they've been too busy following counterfeit Christianity. In this last seven, and we know that there's a break. You can't deny that there's a break between the time that Jesus died, where he established his church, and then this Antichrist came in to destroy it, until the time of the end when he's restoring his church through his witnesses. That is the hallmark of what happens at the beginning of that seven. His witnesses testify and they restore truth. That's what's been going on in this seven. Those people who allowed God's church to be destroyed, through them, who allowed his church to be destroyed, who did not return to him, who prostituted themselves to the harlot and the prostitutes that bore out of her, and this abomination of the false prophet, and this abomination of the image of the Antichrist, those people are not going to be saved. They're going to be either slain by the double-edged sword that's coming out of his mouth, or the people of this time will receive the mark of the beast. That's what the mark of the beast is. That they are worshiping that image and receiving its name, its mark. That's what owns them. And they will be thrown into the lake of burning sulfur. This is an extremely important time. I've been telling you this. It's an extremely important time, this last 7 years. And you guys haven't done anything about it. There are now a little bit over 3.5 years. Plus the 45 days. Plus these last 3 weeks. Until the witnesses die. And then in those days, Jesus is coming back. Why is there no fire under you? How are you going to tell me you believe when there's no change according to the message? When you haven't discerned the things that I'm saying? That's it. And if that's true, is there anything else in this life that you should be concerned about? There's nothing else that you should be concerned about. This is it. And you have an opportunity to hear it, and you don't do anything about it. Now, I don't know exactly what the question is. I'm assuming that the question is, what does verse 25 and 26 mean? Well, it means just what it says. It means that until Jesus died, there were 7 sevens and 62 sevens. His church was built, and the metaphor of the temple was rebuilt with streets and a trench, but in times of trouble. And then after the 62 sevens, the anointed one was put to death and had nothing. Then the Romans came in, and they destroyed the city and the sanctuary, both physically and spiritually. And they've been doing it ever since. And then this last seven starts. And again, Daniel has said that the 77s, or Daniel is being told rather, that there are 77s that are decreed for your people and your holy city to finish transgression, to put an end to sin, to atone for wickedness, and to bring in everlasting righteousness, to seal up vision and prophecy, and to anoint the most holy place. This is the final 7, guys. What are you going to do about it? And if you haven't discerned this, go do that.